Do you know about the tallest abandoned building in the world? Or that there are thousands of kilometers of empty roads not being used in the Mojave Desert? On this episode of Built a Billion, we present to you part 2 of the most useless megaprojects in the world. Number 3. California City. California's third largest city is located in one of the driest places in the United States. It spans 500 square kilometers in the Mojave Desert and is a failed attempt at creating America's next big city that could compete with LA or New York. It all starts with a guy named Nathan K. Mendelsohn, a sociology professor from Columbia University who studied towns and villages. After World War II, California's economy benefited from regular funding from the federal government, causing hundreds of thousands of people to make a pilgrimage to California for better opportunities. So Mendelsohn wanted to capitalize off of this. He bought 33,000 hectares of land in the Mojave Desert, hoping to transform this barren wasteland into a bustling suburban utopia. But why though? First, desert land in the middle of nowhere happens to be very cheap. But more importantly, Mendelsohn chose this specific location due to hearing about the presence of an underground lake with capabilities of sustaining the water needs for the entire city. Next, the California City Development Company was created, with Nathan Mendelsohn in charge. The CCDC was tasked in developing the new city, and by 1961, the plan for the city's creation had started. A central park was built near an artificial lake, which would serve as the city's center, and many other infrastructural pieces were constructed at this time. An airport, 2 golf courses, and a 4-story motel were all built at this time, all to attract potential land buyers. Mendelsohn advertised the city in the LA Times and described it as the largest community in the United States. He also even marketed the city through a real estate school that would license and train individuals to sell land. That sounds genius, but even after all this genius marketing, the city only had 800 residents 7 years after its start. A lot of the city's land was left undeveloped, and you could see empty plots of land dot the landscape. In 1969, Mendelsohn sold the majority of his shares in the company when sales started to decrease and the Federal Trade Commission began investigating for fraud and corruption. By 1972, the FTC issued a cease and desist order for misleading advertising. The real estate school only trained individuals to sell plots of land in California City, not actually train people to be professional real estate brokers. The students of the school had been bamboozled. On top of that, the FTC claimed that most advertised infrastructures like roads were not completed. Today, California City is home to 15,000 people, and a McDonald's and Starbucks lie on the main boulevard. There's a small airport and a bus service that connects the city to the rest of California, and a privately owned prison on the city's east side serves as the main source of employment. Much of the city's land still remains undeveloped, with dirt roads forming a grid that show what could have been. Recently, photographers and magazines have become fascinated with the abandoned project, so time will tell if California City will receive further development. As for now, it's just one of the useless megaprojects of the world. Number 2. The tallest abandoned tower. At 600 meters, the Golden Finance 117 in China holds the record for the world's tallest unoccupied building. Before it was abandoned, this project was slated to be the 6th tallest building in the world. Plans were first conceived in the early 2000s by billionaire Pat Sutong, chairman of investment company Golden Financial Holdings. The building was to be the centerpiece of Golden Metropolitan, a 1.8 square kilometer luxury residential and business district located outside of downtown Jiangyin. The skyscraper would include 128 floors, with 117 floors for commercial and housing space. The other 11 are for mechanical and operational systems, and there would be a diamond-shaped roof at 3 stories high. And it would be the world's highest observation deck, swimming pool, and restaurant at 580 meters above the ground. Construction began in 2008 and was supposed to be finished in 2014. But in 2010, Golden had to cut its costs during the global financial crisis, and construction was paused. It resumed again in 2011, and the skyscraper would now open in 2018. But in 2015, the building structure was completed, but the Chinese economy bottomed out, causing Golden's stock to plummet 67%, and Sutong himself lost $13 billion. Golden then suspended all work on the project indefinitely. However, the skyscraper was destined to fail from the beginning because the building was created as a luxury for the rich elite. Even if the building's construction had went smoothly, the target audience for it didn't exist. No one around the city could afford to live in it, and who knew if the wealthy Chinese would move to Jiangyin to live in a skyscraper? The contractor has completely abandoned the construction site and taken all of the workers and equipment with them. The Golden Finance 117 now towers over Jiangyin and remains a useless wonder that has never been occupied. Number 1. Burj Albabas. In northwestern Turkey, you'll find hundreds of abandoned chateau-style homes in the mountainous terrain without a single person to be found. Burj Albabas was supposed to be a luxury haven for the wealthy oil executives, but it just never quite happened. Construction began in 2014 and was supposed to take 4 years. The plan was to create 732 identical villas to be rented out or sold to the wealthy. Each villa would have 3 stories, a balcony, and a spiral staircase that led up to it. Additionally, there would be a central shopping center with shops, restaurants, health and beauty centers, a cinema, and a mosque. The Burj Albabas is located above a geothermal spring, so a traditional Turkish bath was supposed to be constructed as one of the amenities available to potential buyers. At first, each villa was priced around $400,000 to $500,000, and half of the villas were already financed by investors. But by 2018, everything came to a halt, with only 587 of the 732 villas having been built. The oil market had tanked, and the investors of the project were hit really bad, to go along with the inflation rate in Turkey going up 25%. Most buyers quickly backed out of the project in this terrible economic situation, and the villa project, valued at $200 million, now had the company behind it in debt for $27 million. The Turkish court ordered the company to file for bankruptcy and stop construction on the project. The developer argued that they only needed 100 villas to pay off the debt, and so appealed the decision. Needless to say, this never happened, and today, Burj Albabas remains an eerie ghost town. The project has been abandoned for 3 years now, and nature has begun to destroy some of the properties. The future remains unclear for the Turkish abandoned city, but as for now, Burj Albabas is just a bunch of empty, identical villas. What do you think about these useless mega projects? Will they ever find a use? Let me know in the comments below. If you love to hear about all the mega projects of the world, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like. I've also done another video on the most useless mega projects in the world, so you can check out part 1 of that on the screen. So click that video on the screen to watch something you haven't seen. And thanks for visiting Built a Billion.